Roses Are Red, written by James Patterson, and read by Keith David and Jason Cope.
Brianne Parker didn't look like a bank robber or a murderer. Her pleasantly plump baby face fooled everyone. But she knew that she was ready to kill if she had to this morning. She would find out for sure at 10 minutes past 8. The 24-year-old woman wore khakis, a powder blue University of Maryland windbreaker, and scuffed white Nike sneakers. None of the early morning commuters noticed her as she walked from her dented white Acura to a thick stand of evergreen trees where she hid. She was outside the Citibank in Silver Spring, Maryland, at a little before 8. The branch was scheduled to open in about 90 seconds. She knew from her talks with the mastermind that it was a freestanding bank with 2 drive-in lanes. It was surrounded by what he called big-box stores: Target, PetSmart, Home Depot, Circuit City. At 8 o'clock on the dot, Brianne approached the bank from her hiding place in the evergreens under a colorful billboard obnoxiously offering McDonald's breakfast to the public. From that angle, she couldn't be seen by the female teller who was just opening the glass front door and had momentarily stepped outside. A few strides from the teller, she slipped on a rubbery President Clinton mask, one of the most popular masks in America and probably the one hardest to trace. She knew the bank teller's name, and she spoke it clearly as she pulled out her gun and pressed it against the small of the woman's back. "Inside, Ms. Jean Galetta. Then turn around and lock the front door again. We're going to see your boss, Mrs. Buccieri." Her short speech at the entrance to the bank was scripted, word for word, even the pauses. The mastermind said it was crucial that a bank robbery proceed in a specific order, almost by rote. "I don't want to kill you, Jean, but I will if you don't do everything I say when I say it. It's your turn to talk now, darling. Do you understand what I've just told you so far?" Jean Galetta nodded her head of short brown hair so vigorously that her wire-rimmed glasses nearly fell off. "Yes, I do. Please don't hurt me," she gasped. She was in her late 20s, attractive in a suburban sort of way, but her blue polyester pantsuit and sensible stacked-heeled shoes made her look older. "The manager's office. Now, I'm serious. If I'm not out of here in 8 minutes, you and Mrs. Buccieri die. Don't think I won't do it because I'm a woman. I will shoot you both like dogs." As she followed the trembling teller past 2 Diebold ATMs and then through the meter-greeter area of the lobby, Brianne thought about the precious seconds she had already taken. The mastermind had been explicit about the tight schedule for the robbery. The robbery had to be exact, precise, perfect. The mastermind had planned it on what he called a numerical scale of 9.9999 to 10. With the heel of her left hand, Brianne shoved the teller into the manager's office. She heard the low hum of a computer coming from inside. Then she saw Betsy Buccieri sitting behind her big, executive-style desk. "You open up your safe every morning at 8:05, so open it for me," she screamed at the manager, who was wide-eyed with surprise and fear. "Open it, now!" "I can't open the vault," Mrs. Buccieri protested. "The vault is automatically opened by a computer signal from the main office in Manhattan. It never happens at the same time." The bank robber pointed to her own left ear. She signaled with her finger for Mrs. Betsy Buccieri to listen. 5432, Brianne said. Then she reached for the phone on the manager's desk. It rang. Perfect timing. "It's for you," Brianne said, her voice slightly muffled by the rubbery President Clinton mask. "You listen carefully." She handed the phone to Mrs. Buccieri, but she knew the exact words the bank manager would hear and who the speaker was. "Betsy, it's Steve. There's a man here in our house. He has a gun pointed at me. He says that unless the woman in your office leaves the bank with the money by 8:10 exactly, Tommy, Anna, and I will be killed." The phone line suddenly went dead. Her husband's voice was gone. "Steve? Steve!" Tears flowed into Betsy Buccieri's eyes and rolled down her cheeks. She stared at the masked woman. "Don't hurt them, please. I'll open the vault for you." Brienne repeated the message the bank manager had already heard. 8:10 exactly, not 1 second later. And no stupid bank tricks, no silent alarms, no die packs. "Follow me, no alarms," Betsy Buccieri promised. They arrived at the door of the bank's Mosler vault. It was 8:05. "Open the door, Betsy. We're losing time. Your family is losing time. Steve, Anna, little Tommy could die." It took a little less than 2 minutes for Betsy Buccieri to get into the vault. Stacks of money were plainly visible on nearly all the shelves, more money than Brienne had ever seen in her life. She snapped open 2 canvas duffel bags and began filling them with the cash. Mrs. Buccieri and Jean Galetta watched her take the money in silence. As she'd been instructed to, Brienne counted off the minutes as she filled the duffel bags. 8:07, 8:08. Finally, she was finished with her part in the vault. "I'm locking you both inside the vault. Don't say one word or I'll shoot you, then lock your dead bodies up." She hoisted the black duffel bags. "Don't hurt my husband or my baby," Betsy Buccieri begged. "We did what you—" Brienne slammed the heavy metal door on Betsy Buccieri's desperate plea. She yanked her President Clinton mask from her sweaty face. She was running late. She walked across the lobby, unlocked the front door with plastic-gloved hands, and went outside. She felt like running as fast as she could to her car, but she walked calmly, as if she didn't have a care in the world on this fine spring morning. When she got to the Acura, she checked her watch. 52 seconds past 8:10, and counting. She was late, but that was the way it was supposed to be. She smiled. She didn't call Errol at the Buccieri house where Steve, Tommy, and the nanny, Anna, were being held. She didn't tell him she had the money, and she was safely in the Acura. She was told not to by the mastermind. The hostages were supposed to die.
There's an old saying that I've learned to believe in my time as a detective. Don't think there are no crocodiles, because the water is calm. The water was certainly lovely and calm that night. My young and irrepressible daughter Jenny had Rosie the cat up on her hind legs, and she was holding Rosie's front paws in her hands. "Roses are red, violets are blue," Jenny sang in a sweet, lilting voice. Friends, relatives, and neighbors had begun to arrive for the christening party at our house on 5th Street. I was in a hugely celebratory mood. Nana Mama had prepared an amazing meal for the special occasion. There was cilantro-marinated shrimp, roasted mussels, fresh ham, Vidalia onions, and summer squashes. The aroma of chicken with garlic, pork ribs, and 4 kinds of homemade bread filled the air. One of Nana's refrigerator notes was posted on the door of the GE. It read, "There is an incredible amount of magic and feistiness in black men that nobody has been able to wipe out, but everybody has tried. Toni Morrison." I smiled at the magic and feistiness of my 80-something-year-old grandmother. This was so good. Jenny, Damon, little Alex, and I were greeting everybody on the front porch as they arrived. Alex was in my arms, and he was a very social little baby. He had happy smiles for everyone, even for my partner, John Sampson, who can scare little kids at first, because he's mammoth and scary. Alex grinned at John, who is 6'9" and about 250 pounds. Sampson reached out and took the baby from me. Alex nearly disappeared in his hands, which are the size of catcher's mitts. Then Sampson laughed and began to talk to the baby in total gibberish. Christine appeared from the kitchen. She joined the 3 of us. So far, she and Alex Jr. were living separately from the rest of us. We hoped they would come join Nana, Damon, Johnny, and myself in this house. Just one big family. I wanted Christine as my wife, not just a girlfriend. I wanted to wake little Alex in the mornings, then put him to sleep at night. I'm going to walk around the party with little Alex in my arms, shamelessly use him to pick up pretty women, Samson said. He walked off with Alex cradled in his arms. The party had started around 2 in the afternoon. It was still going strong at 9:30. I had just sung a duet with Samson, Joe Texas, Skinny Legs and all. It was a howling success. Samson was starting to sing, "You're the first, the last, my everything." That was when Kyle Craig from the FBI arrived. I should have told everybody to go home. The party was all but over. Kyle was carrying a colorfully wrapped and ribboned present for the baby. The gift didn't fool me. Kyle is a good friend, possibly a great cop, but he isn't social and avoids parties like they were viral diseases. "No, no, and no," I said as I walked up to Kyle. I used my index fingers to make a cross. "Go away!" "I'm real happy to see you, too," Kyle said, and beamed. Then he gave me a hug. "Multiple homicide," he whispered. "Sorry, call back tomorrow. This is my night off." "I know it is, but this is particularly bad, Alex." While he was still holding on to me, Kyle told me he was in Washington only for the night, and he badly needed my help. I told him no again, but he wasn't listening. And we both knew it was part of my job to assist the FBI on important cases here. Also, I owed Kyle a favor or two. "I wish this could wait, Alex. I'm afraid it can't. I'm on my way back to Quantico now. Where can we talk?" I led him to the sun porch where I keep an old upright piano that still plays about as well as I do. I sat down on the creaky piano bench. "Go ahead." "You heard about the Citibank branch robbery out in Silver Spring? The murders at the bank manager's house?" he asked. "Manager's husband, the nanny, 3-year-old son?" "How could I not hear about it?" I said, and looked away from Kyle. The story was all over the papers and TV. I really didn't understand what I heard so far, though. What the hell happened at the manager's house? The perps had the money, right? Why did they have to kill the hostages if they had the money? That's what you're here to tell me, right? Kyle nodded his head. They were late getting out of the bank. The explicit order was that the crew member inside had to be out with the money by 8:10 exactly. Alex, the crew member at the bank was less than a minute late. Less than a minute. So they murdered the 33-year-old father, the 3-year-old boy, and the couple's nanny. See the murder scene, Alex? I rolled my shoulders, twisted my neck. I could feel the tension invading my body. I saw it all right. Which brings you out to my house tonight, on my son's christening day. Oh, hell. Kyle suddenly smiled and lightened his tone. I had to come over to see the child anyway. Unfortunately, this case is really intense. There's a possibility the crew is from D.C. Even if they're not from Washington, there's still a possibility somebody here might know them, Alex. I need you to look for the killers before they do it again. 3-year-old boy, the father, a nanny, Kyle said, one more time before he left the party. He was about to go out through the door in the sun porch when he turned to me and said, "You're the right person for this. They murdered a family, Alex." As soon as Kyle was gone, I went looking for Christine, but she was gone. My heart sunk. She had taken little Alex and left without saying goodbye, without a single word.
Reluctantly, the mastermind parked on the street, then walked toward an abandoned project within a stone's throw of the Anacostia River. A full moon cast a cold, hard, bone-white light on half a dozen crumbling 3-story row houses with open, screenless windows. The Parkers' hideout was in the row house farthest from the street. They were ensconced on the 3rd floor. Their lovely little lodging was furnished with a grimy, stained mattress and a rusted lawn chair. As he entered their room, he held up a couple of oven-warm pizza boxes as well as a brown paper bag. "Chianti and pizza. This is the celebration, isn't it?" Brienne and Errol were evidently hungry and dug into the pizza pies immediately. They barely greeted him. The mastermind busied himself pouring Chianti into plastic cups he had brought for the occasion. He passed around the cups and then made a toast. "To perfect crimes," he said. "Yeah, right. Perfect crimes." Errol Parker frowned as he took 2 big sips. If that's what you call what happened in Silver Spring,